So here's what happened with stock prices. Now, Remax settled out of this case for $56 million dollars a week or two ago. And I thought they overpaid, but they're looking like geniuses now, okay? Because look at Remax. Their stock was not hit like everybody else's. Look at everybody else. Here's Redfin. Oh my God. I mean, when that verdict came out, their stock just went through the floor. But actually, I think Redfin's actually pretty well positioned because they're in essence a platform. Okay. And they're a discount brokerage. So I think actually Redfin's going to pull through this pretty well. And their stock already did bounce back up today. Okay. So here's a story about here's why Zillow, Redfin, and other real estate stocks tanked after the jury ruling. Recent rulings could hurt the buyer agent business after fee conventions. Okay. But Zillow also, I think, is going to fare pretty well through this. Now, their business has to change quite a bit because what do they do now? They basically sell leads to agents, right? That's their big revenue stream. But because they're in essence a platform, and I argue that Redfin in essence is a platform too, I think the platform companies, the tech companies are actually going to do pretty well through this. I think companies like Compass are going to suffer a lot. I think we could see EXP and the other companies that were now named in all those other lawsuits, they could suffer a lot, but we'll see. Here's Zillow. Zillow got really hurt, but I think Zillow ultimately is going to do pretty well. And remember, I'm going to tell you at the end the big disruptive thing. The big thing, it's coming. Okay, hang on a second. Here's CoStar. This is a player you probably don't hear much about. CoStar has always been a player in the commercial real estate industry, but they've been getting into residential. And Homes.com is now the second most trafficked residential marketplace in the United States. So CoStar is a beneficiary of this, right? And they're probably going to do really well. Okay, so we'll see. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest cartels in the world. Since we had a lawyer on and he gave his speech, I'm going to tell you, I have a lot of experience with the legal system. Okay, you know, I had that big lawsuit I won with his competitor. I had another big win just the other day. You know, you win some, you lose some, right? You know, my litigation side of my career has done pretty well for me, right? And, you know, this is usually competitive issues and competitors cheating us. And, you know, we got to fight them. Look, I mean, my view of this is you have to spend money and time on these things because if you allow someone to take advantage of you, you're basically allowing them to take advantage of all the people that come after you. So you got to fight the good fight, folks. And, you know, I've got the money to do that. I've got the knowledge and the experience to do that. And I just think it's important to contribute to the collective good by fighting the good fight and holding these bad apples accountable. And that's objective, not subjectively, right? But here, what's interesting, and I got this off of Daryl Davis's YouTube video, the American Bar Association, right? The attorneys, right on their website, they're essentially, I would say, price fixing. I mean, you read it yourself. They give an example of contingent fee arrangements, okay? And certainly this lawyer on the big case has got a contingency, right? But so many others do. And here's the example. In a contingent fee arrangement, the lawyer agrees to accept a fixed percentage, often 1/3 to 40%. Now, I will bet you, if anybody can find this, I'll bet you $100, okay? The first person who comes back, listen, first person who comes back, I'll give them $500, okay? I'll bet you $500. You cannot find something like this on the National Association of Realtors website. Find something like this on the NAR website that says, well, you got to pay 6% commission. Yeah, I mean, this is like ridiculous. But right here on the American Bar Association website, the example they use is often 1/3 to 40% of the recovery, which is the amount finally paid to the client if you win the case, right? That's what the lawyers get. Here is the New York State Bar Association. Same thing. The ordinary, I mean, this is even worse language. The ordinary percentage is 33%. But it can be less. Oh, you mean that's actually negotiable? It's not fixed by law? Look at these scummy attorneys that do this, right? This is their bar association. Why aren't they getting sued, right? In a contingent or sliding scale, as something like 50% of the first 10,000 recovered, and 33% of the next 40,000, and 20% of everything over $50,000, right? So, I mean, talk about a cartel. Let me tell you, having been through it, the legal industry, that is a cartel. I looked up the definition of a cartel on Investopedia. A cartel is a collusion of independent businesses or organizations that collude to manipulate the price of a product or service. I just don't think you can really say NAR is a cartel. I would love to be able to say that. I have no love for NAR at all, but I have never seen or heard anything about them trying to like fix commissions or even like allude to that. Okay, just never heard that. Okay, cartels are often competitors in the same industry, and they seek to reduce competition by controlling pricing agreements with one another. Tactics used by cartels are reduction of supply. So certainly the OPEC cartel, we're all familiar with this. They specifically say we're going to reduce production of oil so we can pump the price up, right? Price fixing, collusive bidding, and market carving. I don't know what market carving is. Got to look that one up. Okay, so anyway, you know about that. Understanding a cartel. It has less command over an industry than a monopoly, where a single group or company owns nearly all of the given products or services. Well, here, I think some of the most guilty players are the big tech companies. They are near monopolies, okay? Better than cartels, right? They have way, way too much power. Pros and cons. The pros of having a cartel provides monopoly-like power to its members. Savings for its members is achieved through economies of scale because, you know, they control the supply chains and they rig that too. They rig both ends of the spectrum. Products and services sold at higher margins to maximize profit, but they discourage new entrants into the market. Big tech, Wall Street. Why do you think all these big tech companies are saying, hey, we want to be regulated. Please regulate us. You know, Mark Zuckerberg, right? That scumbag, okay? He goes to Congress and says, I think we need to be regulated. And then Sam Altman, OpenAI, he goes to Congress and says, yeah, you need to regulate this. Always the market leaders want to be regulated because they can afford the cost of compliance, whereas the new entrants can't afford the cost of compliance. So they're essentially building a moat around their business, a monopoly, right? Absolutely disgusting and ridiculous. These people should be prosecuted for that. Okay, lack of competition leads to price fixing and lack of innovation. It impacts consumers as prices for products and services are higher. The real estate industry is a very dysfunctional industry. And what needs to happen, in my opinion, is the barrier to entry needs to be raised. It needs to be a higher barrier to entry. Governments could require more education. It could require people to just be better, to really comply with ethics. There could be more enforcement. You know, all of these things could happen. But another more libertarian way to do it than that, because I'm more of a free market guy, I'm not super into government regulation, is actually to see commissions drop. And if commissions drop, just like having less welfare offered would lessen the interest of people coming over the border, right? Then you would see fewer people interested in getting into these highly lucrative, insanely lucrative businesses where you can make, you know, like these giant fortunes because the commissions are so high, right? The reward is so high. Then you'd have fewer agents in the industry, and they would spend less time and less money on marketing. They would do a higher number of transactions each, and the consumers would be better served all the way around. Your realtor should be an expert technician. They should be good at their trade rather than good at marketing, right? That would be a more functional industry, and they would not be spending so much on marketing time and money.